Hey everybody, it's Strict9 with Strict9 GP, and I'm back with another episode of this Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders playthrough. This time I'm in the Draft Day Sports College Basketball 2021 version. This should be episode 2 in the playthrough here. But for me, this is the fourth season I've been with this Middle Tennessee team. Finished out season 3 last year with a great record. Went to the NIT, finished with 27 wins, made it to the semifinals in the NIT. Kind of disappointing. We finished the regular season as regular season champs in that Conference USA standings. Unfortunately, we couldn't really do anything in the tournament. Had we won the tournament, we'd be looking at the NCAA Final Four tournament, but wasn't to be. I'm hoping that if not, probably not this season, but I'm hoping that we're getting close. We're getting a little bit better at recruiting. With this team anyway, we've got some guys who are used to the offensive sets that we're running. I think we're going to have most of the team back next year. I mean, we're only going to lose a couple seniors, and I think the future looks good if we can keep progressing like this. I mean, that's a good progression. 10 wins, 14, 27. I didn't expect to get to that level, though, last season, so it was a surprise. This year, we've started out 8-3. I gave us a really easy conference schedule. We had some tough opponents. Duke, for instance, on the road in that NIT season tip-off. Bradley on the road, pretty good program. And then this really surprising Texas A&M CC Islanders team who beat us, but they also, we weren't the only team they beat. Look at this. They beat Western Kentucky. So props to them on the road against us and Western Kentucky, 2 wins there. They're 9-4. Who else did they beat that might be? I don't really see. I mean, is William and Mary a decent program? I don't know if I would call any of their other wins all that great, but they were a shocking team. So hats off to them. But that was the most disappointing loss for us in that non-conference schedule. We finished really, I was hoping for 7 or more wins. Last year, we came out of the non-conference schedule with 10 wins, so that set us up really good. But the question is going to be, how competitive are we in this conference? No question. We're going to get through simming here, hopefully get through the first 9 games. I wanted to address something, though, off the bat. I was talking about it last episode. I noticed a few teams as I was looking at the games that were simming. They were missing logos and some of the players missing jerseys. This was an easy fix, and I figured it was going to be. I just hadn't had a chance to look at it, but if you wanted to go through, if you're using that college mod, which I guess most players are going to be using that, you would just look at the teams like in the standings, for instance. You can see if they're missing their logo here or not, and if they are, then you just want to go to that team, go to their school info page. The team logo will probably be blank, and you just browse. It opens up the logo folder. You find the team, open it, and it's saved. So that was an easy fix. It was just a manual fix. I had to go through probably a dozen or more, a little bit more than a dozen teams that had that problem. But let's go ahead, get back to our team, Middle Tennessee State. For some reason, I have to click back onto them, but we'll be playing Florida Atlantic on the road. That should be tough. North Texas on the road, always going to be tough. We're only meeting Western Kentucky, though, once this year, and it's going to be at home. So that should be good. I don't know. Florida International, we're playing a home and away with them, and the away game comes towards the end. I think Rice is going to be tough, and we're only playing them once this year, and it's going to be on the road. So we should have a tough test in this conference this year. And the big one is going to be right away. How do we play against Florida Atlantic on the road? So let's get it going. Now they're coming off a pretty competitive non-conference schedule as well. I don't remember how we were ranked against them. And why is it not showing the grid again? There we go. Sometimes I have to flip back and forth. And like I say, I think I could fix this if I go into play the game in the compatibility mode, but I'm just wanting to see how it works for now. So right away I'm looking at, it was a home win, but Charlotte knocks off Western Kentucky. Rice wins on the road. I think they're going to be the surprise, if not, one of the bigger teams in the conference this year. I think they have the highest net rating I noticed so far, so they'll be tough. Got to do it again. And we do lose 77-67. This will be... I didn't give us a lot of road games in that non-conference schedule. And I mentioned through the episodes from last year, that was the first indication I had that this team was going to be good last year, was when we were winning on the road. We're not winning on the road now. We're playing poor competition. I think we've got one road win. I'm worried that, we're looking at a team that might be stepping back a little bit this year. So for Florida Atlantic, they didn't shoot well. They won the rebound battle. It was close, and then turnovers went their way. But the big thing was fouls. I mean, we had two guys in the starting lineup, including Johnson, with 4 fouls. They went to the line 33 times, and that's pretty much what did it. Maybe, I guess you throw in those 9 3-pointers to our 6. Individually, Hansen, not a great shooting game, really, but he scored 12 points. Eschmeyer, 10 points, 6 rebounds, and then Brown off the bench, 11 points. I mean, he's the leading scorer of the centers, but I'm sticking with what we've done the last 2 seasons, and hopefully that's going to help. Pescon was pretty good on the off the bench too. He's a senior power forward. He's been bench player his whole career. So that's not surprising to start out that way. That's a tough game on the road to start out with. So now next game is going to be Old Dominion at home, and I mentioned this last week or last episode. I really like the fact that you're seeing the upcoming games here. That's really cool. Before, you'd have to go back to the dashboard or go to your schedule, and this is just a little bit, well, it's more handier having it right there up the top. It would really be disappointing if we lose to Old Dominion at home. I expect Florida International to be tough, and I guess I expect Marshall to be tough on the road, even though their record's not that great. But Old Dominion can be a surprise. They're a good program. I think still one of the better basketball programs in this conference. Charlotte, once again, winning on the road. So they're 2-0 now in conference. So I'm sitting here worried about Western Kentucky, and we may have some other teams here to think about, because Florida International, they've won the conference tournament 2 years in a row, I believe. They've at least been in the Final Four tournament 2 of the last 3 seasons. All right, so we handle Old Dominion. That's a good win for us. Not a high-scoring game. Hansen leads the way, I guess, with 12 points. Baxter, who's been kind of up and down. I mean, he's not going to be a dominating player, but he's just a sophomore, so this is his first year starting. Defense, man, look at that, 29.3% shooting. We out-rebounded them 35-30, including 33 rebounds. We're not crashing the boards offensively, I guess. And the turnovers were close enough that it didn't make a difference. We went to the line a lot. We didn't shoot too well. We've been shooting against over 50% against most of the non-conference opponents. Jack, once again, I'm really surprised by this guy scoring. He had 8 points off the bench, playing mostly backing up Johnson at point guard. But just to give you an idea about that, look at this guy in the past. He's playing a lot of minutes, though. This year, I've got him as the primary point guard backup. We lost a couple seniors this year at point guard. But he's averaging over 5 points a game 2 assists a game. He's never come close to that kind of performance. His shooting is really doing well, 50%. So that's good. Brown had a decent game off the bench. It may have been our bench play that really helped us here. I came into the season feeling like our bench was going to be the weak spot on the team. And this is at least a couple, maybe 2 or 3 games I've noticed we have won on the bench from the bench play. And I'm just saying that because of the plus minus. And, they were all plus in plus minus. And only one starter, Hansen, who gets a lot of rebounds too as a shooting guard, 4+ a game. He was the only starter who was in the positive. So that wasn't a great game. I mean, we won, but it wasn't a great performance from the starters for sure. But it puts us back up to 500 in conference, 9-4 now overall. I would really like us to get to maybe 10 wins in conference. It's my goals every time I talk about it. It changes as the season goes on because it just takes you a while to figure out what kind of team you're going to have. But 10 wins will give us 18, and I really think we'd have a good chance at the NIT again. So Western Kentucky, it's close, 50-50. And they beat Memphis, and that wasn't, we haven't had any kind of win like that. So I got to give them props. And then we're scouted to beat North Texas, which is in itself an improvement because I don't have the best scout as an assistant, I know, but that first 2 seasons with this team, we were always scouted to lose. I don't care who we were playing, whether it was the non-conference guys, whether it was the pushover type teams, I would have thought it. We were always scheduled to lose, or almost always scouted to lose those games. So the fact that we are, at least scouted a little better, that means something, I hope. This is going to be a tough matchup, even though we got them at home. They're just one of the better teams in this conference. We really need this win, I think, to make a statement, and we get it. So 78-66, and that's our 10th win. Johnson back scoring again. He's kind of streaky, but he is just really a good scoring point guard, I think. I'm hoping he's going to improve a little bit with ball handling. I hope a lot, considering he's a sophomore. But looking at this game, defensively, we came through 41% shooting for Florida International. We didn't shoot that well, 36.5. So after going 50+% in field goals against a lot of the non-conference teams, we're not seeing it in conference. We did have a lot of trips to the free throw line. We won the turnover battle. We out-rebounded them, so that's good. And this was the second half pull. We pulled away in the second half, so good game. Eschmeyer, a good game for him. 12 rebounds for Landrum. I really wish I had him one more season. He has never started regularly or at all. And he's a senior who I think has comparable ratings to the guy we lost last year, Craig. But I went with Craig because I think he was a tick or two above in maybe scoring. But sometimes I second guess myself. Maybe I should have given Landrum the starts so that he would have developed. And then Baxter playing decent so far. Pretty poor shooting though from Hansen. His field goal percentage is 42%. I guess that's livable. Brown didn't have a great game considering just 2 points but 6 rebounds. Bench was so-so in this one. Jack, again, gets a lot of minutes. He must be in the depth chart somewhere I'm not aware of. Now he's just a point guard. So he's been slotted in there from the AI, maybe at shooting guard or something. I wish, that's one thing I wish you could do, and I don't know. The insights will tell you a little bit about it, I think. if you know how to read it, like the lineup tracking. Like you can look at for Jack's name here. I mean, this is when he's playing, I think, as shooting guard. Man, I don't know how that. That's the thing. I don't know if it starts point guard, small forward, power forward. I don't know how it's set up. But when he's in there, I mean, it's obvious that our bench is performing better than I thought they were, because these this is the bench. They've got 97 and a half minutes together. They got a plus minus of 29. Field goal percentage is really good. Free throws are not too bad. And then these are our starters. They've got a plus minus of 13. Um, so where's the weak link out of this, and where's the top? I mean, I just think we're getting better matchups against the opponent's bench. So I don't want to mess with it too much. But I really don't know why Jack is getting so much time when looking at the stats for the team in minutes, Johnson's leading the way. That's really interesting. I don't know how, if your depth chart's not filled in, maybe the AI is forced to, when players get tired, play these guys out of position. I guess that's probably just going to happen with this team this year until we get those recruits in, because we don't have the depth. I got two guys, one a transfer, one a red shirt, and then some walk-ons to give us 1, 2, 3. It's just 13 players. I think we should have 15 full. But I don't necessarily feel bad about Jack getting the play, because he's playing better. He's playing really good off the bench. So another tough streak coming up. 2 tough road games: Marshall, North Texas, and then a home game against Western Kentucky. I'd really like to come out of those 3 2-1. It's the kind of streak, though, in this conference where you could potentially lose all 3. I mean, that's how the competition is. That's kind of the level you're up against. I'm just hoping that that's not what we're looking at here. I think of the 3, I would hope that we would have a better chance against Marshall, or maybe North Texas. Looks like they're having a down season, but Marshall, I don't think they're going to be a pushover. Western Kentucky beat Florida International on the road. All right, let's see how it goes. I don't feel too confident about this one. Oh, we pull it out, 86-77. So that was huge. That gives us a little bit of a cushion with the next 2 games. We could potentially lose them and still be at 500 in conference. But that was a good scoring game, too. Shooting is still not getting up to 50%, but it's better than it has been. We went to the line a lot. Turnovers were close, and rebounds, we beat him a little bit there. But, man, the free throws, 12 of 15 from Eschmeyer. He had 21 points. That's probably going to be his high for the year. Most points I've seen out of him in a while. He's not playing that well this year. Brown off the bench was okay too, but Eschmeyer got most of the minutes there at center. Jack back down to 10 minutes. That makes sense. Maybe there was just something went, either foul trouble or something in that last game. Johnson, 20 points, and Hanson's still struggling with shooting. He needs to pick it up a little bit. This guy transfer in from Arkansas. He's got decent potential. A good outside shooter, good defensive player, really. And I guess that shows with the rebounds he's getting in terms of the way his rebounding is set as a shooting guard. But I hope he improves a little bit as the season goes on. We're going to have some depth at shooting guard next year, but I really don't want to wait So this will get us through another week here. And two more tough ones coming up. I know we beat Old Dominion already, and their record is really bad. They're struggling this year, 2-13 right now, looks like. But they're not going to be a pushover at home. They're always a tough matchup at home. In fact, I think if we look at the scouting reports, we got Florida Atlantic now. Yeah, we're barely getting the edge. They have a top 20 win this year. They've got a pretty high net rating. Luckily, we've got them at home. And then Old Dominion, they're going to be scouted to beat us. I think mainly because it's a home game for them. All right, so let's look out for North Texas next. I'm surprised at their record too. I don't know if that means they had a tough non-conference run, schedule, or they're just not as good this year as they've been in the past. I kind of foresee Western Kentucky always being good though. All right, so this is a win that would really be nice to have. It would really give us some more cushion. We're 3-1. Yeah, they're 2-2 in conference. We really humiliate them, and we got an injury there for Chris Walker. Hopefully that's not a big deal. Let's look at the game first. So that was our biggest win in conference for sure, and it was once again bench play. Kevin Brown, 16 points. Keith Brown, 16 points off the bench. A lot of rebounds in this one. Eschmeyer, not one of his best games. He only played 15 minutes. Probably got in some early foul trouble. Dang, Johnson, this was one of his worst. Just 4 points, 6 turnovers. That could be as we go along. We're not using a fast-paced offense right now, but it might be for him, it might just be a matter of him getting more proficient with these offenses. I still want to back off the Princeton at some point, and I may have to, depending on the centers that we get in the next couple seasons. But he struggles in that turnover department. But this was a great shooting performance, and more than likely it was because of the bigger guys inside. Landrum 5 for 6, Brown 7 for 12. We out-rebounded them. They hardly showed up there, and then we won the turnover battle too. So that was a really comfortable win against a tough road opponent. So let's see who's injured here and for how long. It's just 7 days, and he is just he is not really playing much at all. I mean, he's only going to be used, I think, as players as we run out of players, or if we have a big blowout. That's probably what happened. He got in this game because of the score. It was we were so far ahead of him. So far things are looking pretty good. 2 of the next 3 at home against some of the better teams in the case of Florida Atlantic and Western Kentucky, 2 of the better teams looks like in the conference this year. We may take a look at the standings before we play this game, but my guess is it's the same teams that we've seen for the last few seasons up there, but I think Charlotte and Rice might be 2 of the surprises. And I'm just gonna flip over real quick just to set up the game, see how important this one is. Charlotte 4-2 in conference, they're doing pretty good. So it's Rice, Texas San Antonio. Those are the 2 big teams there. Western Kentucky I mean, they win here, and they're tied with a bunch of us up there in third place. The net score, they have a little bit higher of a ranking than us, but not too great. I think Rice right now is the team that surprised me the most. 5-4 on the road. We are 3-3 on the road. So again, it's early, but 2 seasons ago we were struggling to win a game. So this one, very high scoring game. I wonder if it went to overtime. We win 93-88. So we're looking close to what we were looking like last season. Knock on wood. I may have just jinxed us. But 88-93, it did go to overtime. That's the second time we've had to come into overtime and overtake a team. And I think we won that last OT game by 5. So this one, very close in a lot of things here. 48% shooting, just 0.1% separated us. But we got more baskets, more attempts. Rebounding was way in our favor. We won in turnovers, and then free throw shooting. So I think they may have just gotten streaky in the second half and made a game of it. Hansen, 25 points. Is that his best game of the year? Now, he says as high as 29, but I don't know if he got that for us. No, that is his season high. Johnson, a good game from him. What I like to see, 8 assists. Eschmeyer with 8 rebounds. Baxter, pretty good. Landrum, 9 rebounds. And then the bench. Keith Brown, man. This guy has really been a great pickup. He was a transfer out of, I think, Texas San Antonio. Yeah, I mean, he has been such a valuable player, and he's got a great attitude. He's not really worried about playtime, so he fits so well coming off the bench. This is a great win for us. That puts us in that 3-way tie now with these, some pretty good competition, I bet, as the year goes on. Now, I think we haven't met Rice yet, but if I'm remembering, I think they're a road game. Yeah, late in the season. They're a road game. We got Texas San Antonio at home, so just one game against them. That might be really key as this season goes on. So let's go back. I'm going to try to get 3 more games in, and we're about to the end of this week. So we got Southern Miss on the road, Florida Atlantic at home, Old Dominion on the road. 5-1 in conference, man. Could we possibly win two of 3 on that and be going into that second half of the conference schedule like we did last year? We were 7-2 in the first 9 games. We finished 13-5 in conference. I would not have guessed that we would have had that great of a year this year in conference, but it's still early. It's still way early. But one thing I was going to check while I'm thinking of it, just make sure, I know we've got letters of intent from the recruit class. Want to make sure their ratings their rankings are staying the same. I think we're going to have a good recruiting class this year. Everything, if everything goes the way it's looking. I mean, these are national ranks on the position. So we look at Murdoch, for instance. He's 13th in the region and moving up. Dexler is 14th, moving down, unfortunately. Muhammad, 5th in the region. And then Walker is 8th in the region, and he was the guy who was top 5, I think, at the Memphis Hoop Summit. So really happy with that recruiting class finally, after struggling so much the last 3 seasons with this team. All right, so more tough competition coming up. I don't think Old Dominion will be a pushover, even though 2-15, that's probably the worst record I've seen out of them since I've been playing in Conference USA. And you go back, what that means, I think I put 4 seasons into Alabama Birmingham. I put 4 seasons now into this, so 8 seasons? That's a pretty good stretch. They're winless in conference. So yeah, they're going to be hungry, I think, for this one. Rice finally took a loss, and who was the other team? Texas San Antonio won by 1 point on the road, and we've squeaked by 69-62. Defensively, they must be pretty sharp because that's both games we played. We've had a hard time scoring against them, but a win's a win. That's all I want. We're 6-1 in conference now. We scored over 50. We shot over 50%, so that's not bad. Turnovers were close, but they won that battle. Hansen had another good game, so that's 2 in a row from him where he's scored 20 plus, and 6 assists from Johnson, but 6 turnovers. Pretty good run there from the starters, and then the bench. A lot of pluses here I'm seeing. So that I'm surprised how well the bench is looking this year. Might be if we hold out and finish high up in the standings in the conference, it might be from the bench play, really. And I never would have thought that. I thought for sure that was our weakest point because we're so thin with the seniors that left and just the way recruiting has been with this team. We just haven't been able to get any recruits worth. I think even 1 or 2 seasons we were not able to fill all of our scholarships. That's how crazy it is that we're before we even start conference play, we've got all 4 scholarships out there and verbals on them, and now letters of intent. I think that's just the big difference you see once that prestige starts going up. All right, so this is a big one. Florida Atlantic 5-2. They need this win to stay atop the conference standings. Same for us. We need it to get some space. Western Kentucky, they got to win. Charlotte got to win. Rice, another loss though. They're struggling, and we win easy, 87-74. So we're 7-1 in conference. Some big scoring from the team more than likely, but I'm seeing some big scoring from Johnson and Hansen again. Let's see. 50% shooting again. So we're getting the shooting back. Defensively, we're holding the other teams. We won the turnover battle. They had a terrible free throw performance there, 7 of 18. Individually, Johnson, a great game, 22 points. And then Hansen, a really good game from him again. I know Johnson's still, struggling a little bit. His assists are better, but miracle of miracles here, 0 turnovers from him. So a good performance here from our starting lineup. Jack, 20 minutes. Where's that coming from? It has to be coming, I think. He's just being played all over the place. That's one of the things I wish there, unless I'm missing it in the insights, I really wish there was a way of seeing like how many games, these guys are getting, what position they're playing their games out in. That would just be so helpful. All right, so this one more game and then to end this episode, and that'll get us halfway through the conference. We're already better way better than I expected. I didn't think we had a chance of equaling what we did last year, and I guess now you have to say we probably do. But I should probably just shut up about it and not get too mouthy, because worst thing that can happen is we start losing. So we're playing Alabama Birmingham. We haven't played them, I guess, in a while. And then Texas El Paso, they might be a tough team. No. I mean, they're 500 in conference. Well, I meant to look at this last. So we got the top 30 Norton candidates. That would be nice to see one of our guys up there. Probably not going to happen anytime soon, if ever. But here we go, Southern Mississippi on the road. This could be one of those that we go down in. I know I've been saying that a lot, but I don't foresee them being easy to beat at home. regardless of that record. And we gotta lose sometime. I mean, 7-1. That's hard to, unless you're just a completely dominant. Your lineup's full of 4 and 5 star players. That's hard to expect game over game. But we won again. This is the kind of, this is like last season. I'm feeling good again about this team because when you win games on the road, regardless of who you're beating on the road, it's just so key. And this was like, hey, a low-scoring game. We didn't shoot our best, 37%, but we were out-rebounded, but we somehow got the win. And player of the game was Eschmeyer, so good for him. Turnovers were limited in this game. That's good. Bench play was, so-so. I really don't know how we won it. It's just that maybe we just outplayed. Both of us had bad days, but we were a little less bad. I guess that's the way you look at it. So the standings, look at these standings now. 8-1. Texas San Antonio still up there, but both of us have a pretty nice cushion. 2 games anyway, with 9 to play is not too bad. Old Dominion finally gets a win in conference. I wonder who they beat. Rice, still competitive, but Charlotte really nosedived a little bit there. We're on an 8-game winning streak though, so we lost that first one on the road to Western Kentucky, and we've been good since. If I look at the team sheet, so we're starting to get the wins now in the second quadrant with that Florida Atlantic win. And then, Western Kentucky, they're going to be in that third quadrant. That the road games, the road wins are key, really wherever you pick it up. But that would help us because a lot of these teams are probably going to be in the quadrant 3. So if we win there, I mean, in the quadrant 4 and 3, we haven't lost a game. So I think that's where we are as a team. We're very competitive in this conference. We're just, now it's going to be sustaining it and getting to the next level. Bubble Watch is out too. I'm going to take a look at that. We're obviously not going to be ranked. We're in too poor of a conference. But they've got Texas San Antonio. They've got us both in there. But Texas San Antonio has the better net. And we do play them once, and it's going to be at home. So that'll be key if we keep winning. That'll be a big one. But we even got Rice over here on the Bubble Watch. Texas El Paso on the Bubble Watch. So I think the conference is getting a little bit more notice this year. That's 4 teams right there that are, that are showing up here. But anyway, that'll do it for this episode. Appreciate the support as always. We got one more to go to get this season underway, and then we'll get to the conference. But I'm liking what I'm seeing so far once again. I hope we can keep this up. This will be huge if we have another good season like this. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next episode.